telethon, and of course this is a reverse telethon. We're calling you to remind you to fill out your census form before the deadline, September 30th. With me today is Matthew Hebbard with STC. He's the vice president there, to sort of tell us and remind us why it's important to fill out your census form.
Well, thank you, Roy. And I'll take it from the population that we serve the most in this community, students. Students range from various ages. The reason why it's very important for students to participate in the census, there's a lot of funding tied to the census. A lot of our students need federal Pell Grants to attend college. So the federal government uses census counts to figure out Pell Grant calculation. So a lot of our students, they qualify for Pell. However, the amounts just aren't enough. It's enough to pay our tuition and fees at STC. However, living expenses, if we're ever going to get those numbers up for Pell, give students more book allowance money and more living expenses, the census is important to that. There's a lot of federal programs that get funded through the census for students for higher education. Mental health is one, campus safety, and of course the general community services that we get. So we're registering students, and we also want them to be sure to fill out that census. It's very important to the community.
I know in 2010, McAllen said we were undercounted by a lot, that we knew there was more people out there, but people just didn't fill it out. 2020 is a whole other difference when it comes to the census. You can fill it online.
That's correct.
And I did it. It took me 10 minutes because I reread it like 20 times. But I did it online, and it was easy, fast, and not that difficult.
Yeah.
And I know the kids today, students, you know how to work your phone.
That's right.
Laptop, computer. You know how to get in there real quick and just fill it out.
That's correct. That's correct. It's very, very easy, straightforward. A lot of our students right now, they're registering online. They're taking courses online. So it's not that hard. I think it's just taking the time, looking into the phone, looking into laptop or PC, and taking the opportunity to do it. It's so easy. There's really no excuses that we have of not filling it out. And I think one thing that I'd like to point out for students is, especially with the generation that we have, they're very supportive of each other. And I think fellow students, if you're filled out that census, I think you have a great opportunity to tell your friends, get them to fill it out too, because they may not always understand the importance of why that census is important. But if you get the word out, that'll help us out a lot.
Community colleges like yourselves and colleges and universities use numbers from 2010. That's what you're using to figure this out.
Yeah.
And of course, there's more students going to school. So
Correct.
That means the pocket's smaller because you have to divide it more.
That's right.
So if we had an accurate count, I guess people would get their fair share. And
Yes.
These are tax dollars that they ultimately pay. Their parents pay, residents pay, to sort of help people out.
That's correct. And I like that term fair share because the population has grown here quite substantially. The number of students attending college has grown as well. And if we're going to sustain this and build a better quality of life for the community, we need those federal dollars to come in and help us out, because you're absolutely right. I'm not originally from here, but I know there's a lot of competition in other areas. And there's areas like the Northeast where I'm from that aren't growing as much. And a lot of people are moving to areas like the Valley. So we need to get the numbers so that the federal government knows this is how the population is growing. It's a great place to live. People know it. And we need to show it in the numbers itself so we can get our fair share.
STC student population right now is what?
Yes, we're over 32,000 students. We might be a little bit down because of the pandemic. We're seeing a lot of students register right now. So over 30,000 students, over 16,000 dual enrollment. And these federal dollars help with dual enrollment. We give millions and millions of dollars away for a year for free dual credit. So a lot of our families have benefited from that. That's why this is also important too, because we want to keep sustaining the higher education opportunities here in the Valley for our families.
And let me challenge those 32,000 students out there. If you already filled out your census, great. But help your neighbor, help your family, remind them, ask them if they need help. It's very easy for people to be sort of overwhelmed with, I need to do it online, I didn't mail it back, well, let me help you online. Because if they have their form, all they need is some assistance to get it out there. We're here today trying to remind people, and you can always call the city for help, but you could help your neighbors out, and I think that's what we're trying to do.
That's correct. That's correct. We're all in this together. It's a great community, so let's show the whole country what is going on here in the Valley, and let's get each other to help do the census, your neighbors, your family and friends. It's so important that we each come together and fill out the numbers for us.
Because I can guarantee you in the next 10 years, STC is going to be bigger,
That's right.
better, and provide more services and degrees and everything else to people.
That's correct. That's correct. And we need that help. We need to reflect the numbers and the growth that we have to provide those services in the years to come.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hebbard, for your time. And of course, STC, come through for the City of McAllen and of course the South Texas area, because we all need to help each other out. For the City of McAllen, I'm Work on Through.